I'd like to take a few moments and talk about advanced needs modeling and what that is in IncomeMax. So I'm going to pick a case, and advanced needs modeling is only applicable to retirement. So we'll head over there. And it really is a replacement for this area, retirement needs. So let's go into retirement needs. And again, most of the time you'll have nice linear graphs like this, but what if something unusual is coming up? An example of that is, let's say we have someone who has a mortgage for a few years after they have retired. Well, this doesn't show the impact of the mortgage, and we don't want to take the mortgage into account for all of these years because it just isn't correct. So what we do is we hit the Advanced Needs Modeling button, and this is the Advanced Needs screen. So here, typically what you'll do is, first thing is import the basic need. So now we have exactly what we had before. Okay, fairly linear graphs, everything looks the same. What we're going to do is we're going to add a new need, and that need is going to be the mortgage, and we're going to give it, say, $12,000 a year. Now remember, this is when they're retired, and they retire up here in 2030. So our start year is 2030, not 2012, or at least the year we happen to be in, because that's not when they're retired. They retire later on. The mortgage doesn't change, so we're going to leave the annual change as 0. And it probably doesn't matter if you click this button or not, but we're going to uncheck the include in cash flow. Now what we get is this little bump here in the graph that represents the $12,000 a year for the mortgage for the 4 years that we had. Great. You can model just about anything in here. If I wanted to model, let's say they wanted to travel. Okay, we're gonna take a trip. We're gonna spend $8,000 in 2031. It's going to end in 2031 because it's a one-time trip. We're not going to do it year after year, or maybe you could model it if that's what they were doing. No annual change, especially because it's 1 year. And now we've modeled right here a trip to, Europe or something like that. One of the other really nice things, if you have done the long-term care piece of IncomeMax, I'm going to delete these two so we can see this a little easier. If you've done the long-term care piece, you can very easily import that data into the advanced needs. So if you wanted to create a new scenario and then show your client the effects of a long-term care event, this is the way you would do it. So right now what I've done is I've picked Sylvia, and we've already worked her long-term care screen. I believe we've given her a 3-year long-term care event. Simply click the button. And that's what represents her long-term care. It's $62,400 a year with a 5% increase, and those are the 3 years. So graphically, we can show that that's pretty powerful, and that can really change somebody's retirement outlook if they suddenly have this, roughly $180,000 expense that they didn't realize. So that's adding it for Sylvia. I'm actually going to remove that again so we can see this a little better. Now we're going to add this for Todd, and we're going to talk about the difference. Now, this looks very different from what we just did with Sylvia, and the reason it looks different is Todd has a long-term care policy already in place. This is adding in, as you can see by the tip, the uncovered long-term care. So the first 3 years, Todd has a long-term care policy that is in place for 3 years. The first 3 years he has coverage. The 4th year he has no coverage. That's why the graph looks the way it does. And again, the little bump here in the first year is because there's a waiting period. So the first year he doesn't get as much coverage as he does in years 2 and 3, and then in year 4 he has no coverage according to his policy. But again, very easy way to add that data in. So you can add anything you want in here as far as long-term care or an advanced need goes. Really, you can model just about anything. Once you've got that done, be sure to click this box, because you may try some advanced need stuff out and then not necessarily want to use those numbers. If you want to use them, check that box, then click OK. We show the same graph, and we update the button that says Advanced Need Modeling is in use to remind you of what is actually going on there. Hope that was informative. And again, take a look at the other videos on the support site to see what else IncomeMax is capable of. Thank you.